Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Earlier, we saw that Maitreyi receives the teaching from Yajnavalkya, which is in the form of a big de-addiction program. That is exactly what this teaching is. It is a de-addiction program. How? Because samsara is nothing but a series of addictions to the finite and the innate desire and the determination to try and make it infinite. And of course the finite can never become infinite and therefore one is in sorrow, strife and conflict because of this chakra, this wheel-like motion where one is attempting to do the impossible. And Maitreyi was taught this right at the beginning. Right at the beginning. Why? Because she was what is called in the Shastra an adhikari. More about that we'll see when we get into the meaning of the word Sravanam, Mananam, etc. So, she was an adhikari, means eminently qualified for this knowledge. And so she could take it. Perhaps a lesser person would have got up and walked away, or told Yajnavalkya, you are just trying to justify your renunciation, and then you are just telling me all these things. The husband is dear, not for the sake of the wife, but not for the sake of the husband, but for the sake of the wife, etc., etc. You are just trying to justify leaving me. That's why you are doing this. Somebody else could have said that. But what does she do? She is able to understand. She is able to go to the depths of it. And so, Vedanta really, if we have a one-sentence definition of Vedanta, it is a de-addiction program from the clutches of samsara. What is samsara? We just saw. Samsara is nothing but a futile attempt after futile attempt to make the finite infinite. In the process, that which is truly infinite, aka yourself, is lost. That which is infinite is lost. Because one is busy making the finite into something it can never become. And so she was taught this. Now, if we go away from this, thinking that this itself is Vedanta, this is the sum total of Vedanta, then there is a danger of dissociation. We make a distinction, Atma, I, Anatma, everything else. Therefore what? Keep away from everything. Keep away from the Jagat. How to keep away from the Jagat? Jagat means universe. You are in the universe. How are you going to keep away from the universe? This is not possible. Oh, keep away from other people because they just bring sorrow. Well, while you are making that intention, that sankalpa you are making in your head, and then you just bump into a person, literally, what are you going to do? Because it's not about your own efforts, because there are other people around you. It's their efforts, their intentionality, everything that makes for a very, complicated life. And so, really speaking, neither is it possible to keep away from things, situations, people, etc., nor is it necessary. So then, what is necessary is to see things for what they are rather than to see things, people, situations, etc. for what I want them to be. This is Vedanta. This is now the whole story. So it is not about avoidance. You avoid the Jagat, you pretend the Jagat doesn't exist, like a kitten drinking milk with its eyes closed. It has come through the window. You have a pan of boiled milk there, and then it thinks that if it closes its eyes, nobody can see. Because it can't see, nobody can see. That's not how it works. This would be a form of denial of the self, of whatever it is. So therefore, what this Jagat is, what this husband is, what this wife is, what is, what children are, what do they represent? And what is money? What is the various, what is social hierarchy? All the things that we saw earlier. What are lokas? And all this has to be understood for what it is, rather than how I see it with with a layer of subjectivity. What is this subjectivity? The subjectivity is nothing but a series of wants that are painting the situation in a distorted way. Sometimes the situation is painted in such a way that after painting the situations with likes and dislikes, one gets scared. And so this is the this is where the transformation has to happen. But the earlier teaching was all about coming to terms with the fact that everything is, whatever one does, is for the sake of the pleased self. Everything is for one's sake alone. Even if one does seva, karma yoga, who does it benefit? You. Yeah, it benefits you. Oh, but other people are being helped. The other people are being helped means what? They may be helped, but if you were not there, they might have been helped more. Who knows? One doesn't know that. And so so therefore, this Jagat has to be seen. Jagat means everything that I encounter has to be seen from the standpoint of the vision of the Upanishad. And if we take the flashlight of another text called Drig Drishya Viveka, very interesting thing is said there. This text, attributed to Adi Shankara, says that everything in the universe has three, can be defined from three standpoints. 5 standpoints, but 3 is primary. So 5 standpoints. You can define a thing. What is, what are those 5 things used to define something in the universe? Number 1, asti. Asti means it exists. Like you look around in the universe, pot exists, thought exists, cat exists, rat, mat, hat, bat, everything exists. Rat is, bat is, mat is, computer is, door is, window is, room is, flower is, tree is, seed is. So many ises. That should make it easy because the universe is very izzy. Izzy means full of ises. This is. Everything is. Asti. That is the first condition that things meet. Asti. Then the second thing is, if it exists, then it is knowable. Maybe not right now. Maybe 100 years later. Hence, it is knowable. If it exists, eventually one comes to know of it. Recently, somewhere in Siberia, they unearthed this intact, what is that called? That ancient elephant, woolly mammoth. Woolly mammoth. And even the blood was fresh. It was so well preserved in ice. A baby woolly mammoth. And now they're trying to clone a new one from that DNA, you know. And then, so it existed for such a long time, but we did not know of its existence. It wasn't knowable until now. But now I know that woolly mammoth is. Why do you say is? Because it's right here. Its body is. The knowledge of woolly mammoth is right now. And so this is, so this is the second condition. Whatever is shines as an object of knowledge, or as the very content of the knower. So asti, the second one is bhati, shines. Asti bhati. And the third condition that is enjoyed by all things in the universe is priyam. Anything that you see is an object of love. Oh, I don't think this is correct. The first two, okay, I was with you. But now suddenly everything that you see is an object of love. What about cockroaches? So unsavory. All other reptiles. So many things are there. Creepies and crawlies and all kinds of things. They are not lovable. Yes, they are. How? The absence of them is very lovable. In order for me to be comfortable, I want them, I wish them well. I don't want to use pesticides and all, but then I want them far, far, far away. Okay? Biting things and terrifying things, big cats. And then what else? All these biting things, snakes and scorpions and crabs and reptiles and alligators, all these things. Let them be in the swamps and the reptiles, I mean, and let them be in the forest, the big cats and the bears and all these things. Let them not come into my space. So, everything is lovable, either by its presence or indirectly by its absence. Priyam. Asti bhati priyam. You do this analysis. You think of 10 things that you can immediately, just free associate and think of 10 things, and then they will all have the same exact, they will meet all these three conditions. The fourth condition, everything has a name. That is easy. That we see. Everything has a name. Even cats and dogs have names. Everything has a name. People name their cars also. And people name so many things. And so therefore, and Bhagavan has many names. So everything has a name. Nama. And then what? And the fifth condition that is enjoyed by all things in the universe is Rupa, a form. Everything has a name, everything has a form, and this named and formed entity exists, and it is an object of knowledge, and it is the content of the knower, and then what else does it? And it is lovable either directly by its presence or indirectly by its absence. Asti bhati priyam nama rupam etat panchakam. Panchakam means group of 5. So this group of 5, out of this group of 5, you have to know one small thing. Adyatrayam, the first 3. What are the first 3? Asti is, bhati is, is knowable, and then priyam is beloved, either directly or indirectly. These 3 or constitute, the author says, the definition of Brahman. Brahman means limitlessly big. Brahman asti, Brahma bhati, Brahma priyam. So what is this asti bhati priyam? It's just a fancy way of saying Satchidananda. Same thing, just a different language. Why do I need a different language? Sometimes the words need to be different because as soon as, you've been hearing Satchidananda, Satchidananda so many times. One more time, sleep comes because it's a nice lullaby. One gets complacent. So the Upanishad, this is the teaching methodology of the whole Upanishad and the Shastra. There are, the names are switched and genders are bent. And suddenly something is neuter and then it becomes feminine. And so all these things happen to keep one attentive, interested, and at the edge of their seats. That is how the Upanishad wants us as Vedanta students to be. Very beautiful. Asti bhati priyam, the first three belong to Brahman. There is a copyright, a little C with a circle around it, around asti, copyrighted. Oh, copyrighted, yes. So then I'm just borrowing the copyright. So, an object can say, yes, you're borrowing the copyright. Bhati, shines. That is also got a little C with a trademark with a circle around it. Priyam, also, it has got a little C with a circle around it. These are copyrighted. We cannot say properties because Brahman has no properties whatsoever. We cannot say characteristics because Brahman, that I, is free of characteristics. We can say that these three belong to Brahman. Even belong, the word we have to use air quotes. These three belong to Brahman. Adyatrayam Brahmarupam, Jagadrupam Tatodvayam. So then what about the Jagat? If out of 5, 3 are taken away, the cream of the crop, existence, Sat, Asti, and then Chit, the knowability, the sentience, Chit, Bhati, and then Priyam, Ananda, Ananta. If that is taken away, what is left? What is the Jagat left with? The last two, Nama and Rupa. Nama and Rupa, Rupa and Nama. So the whole Jagat is name and form, name and form, name and form. And what is name? It is a word. What is form? It is a meaning. Name and form, name and form, name and form, word and meaning, word and meaning, word and meaning. More words and more meanings, more words and meaning. Table, a word with a meaning. Chair, a word with a meaning. Pot, a word with a meaning. Clay, another word with another meaning. The whole thing, the whole Jagat is centered on the tip of your tongue. It is just centered on the tip of your tongue. Nothing else is there. We just have collectively understood words with their expressed meanings. And that's all this whole Jagat is. That is, but then why am I in love with this? Why am I in love with objects in the Jagat? Because Asti Bhati Priyam is there throughout. But since it is copyrighted to Brahman, the Jagat shines in the borrowed feathers of Brahman. The Jagat shines in the borrowed light of Brahman. This word and meaning, name and form, word and meaning, what animates every word and every meaning, every name and every form is Asti Bhati Priyam. The Asti Bhati Priyam is not obvious, cannot be objectified. Why? Because it is the very Swarupa of the person who says, I want Asti Bhati Priyam. You are Asti Bhati Priyam. No, 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 I want to hold it and have it. You cannot, because you are it. So the Asti Bhati Priyam is invisible, cannot be sensed by any kind of a means of knowledge that you have in your hands. Sight gone. Can Asti Bhati Priyam be heard? No, it cannot be heard. It doesn't say, hello, I'm here, my name is Asti Bhati Priyam. You can call me ABP for short. It doesn't say that. It doesn't speak. It is not an object of hearing. It cannot be seen. And then what else is left? What does Asti Bhati Priyam taste like? It must be a special taste. Yes, indeed, because it is the truth of the taster. The tongue cannot taste itself. That is the predicament here. And then what? What else is left? What is the fragrance of Asti Bhati Priyam? Is it like 1,000 roses? Is it like jasmine, the heady scent of jasmine? It is that it cannot be picked up because it is free of all scents. So, what does Asti Bhati Priyam say? It does not have, it has no scent, it has neither scent nor accent, and then it doesn't speak, it doesn't talk, it doesn't do anything. It simply is. It shines and it is endlessly happy, and that happens to be you. This is, this is the predicament. That happens to be you. That happens to be everything in the Jagat. Asti Bhati Priyam plus name and form. Asti Bhati Priyam plus pot shape and pot word. Asti Bhati Priyam plus table akara, table form and table name. Asti Bhati Priyam plus a word and its meaning. The Asti Bhati Priyam is taken for granted. It is invisible, it is non-objectifiable, it is you. So one naturally goes for that which is objectifiable, the name and the form. And since Brahman has lent its existence to everything in the universe without undergoing any change, everything becomes an object of love, an object of want. What you want is the filling, which you already are. But what one goes for is the outer shell of the name and form. This is very beautifully illustrated in a very nice text called Bhaja Govindam. Bhaja Govindam, very beautiful text, attributed again to Adi Shankaracharya, where he says that the same husband who was very, very loved by his wife came home one day, thanks to a sad accident, on a stretcher, body bag, gone. And the same wife who could not live without her husband, as soon as she looked at the dead body of the husband, said, "Take it away, take it away, take it away to the cremation grounds. Take it away, dispose of this immediately, let it not, desanctify my house. Take it away." So that which is an object of love suddenly turns into an object of fear and loathing. Why? Because in the body of the person that has departed and left behind the body is just Nama Rupa. Asti Bhati Priyam is it has withdrawn, so to speak, its presence. And so therefore, withdrawn means it's not in the same form anymore. It has changed form. And so therefore, that same person, as long as, as long as they are in one form, one loves them. And as long as just the body is there, one wants it out of the house. And so therefore, this is what Maitreyi needs to understand. Yajnavalkya's teaching brings this out very, very clearly. That people fall in love. Fall means what? The emphasis is on fall, meaning you don't have control. Fall. And then you fall for something, or you fall for someone, and this falling is something out of control experience, and this out of control experience is nothing but a transference, a positive transference, which will very quickly turn into a negative transference. So that's why first, I really love you, and then later, I think we need space. We need to we just need to diversify. We need some room. This is the human predicament without this teaching. This is what the human predicament is. And so the de-addiction program, which was taught earlier, this is something to just have in one's life. Have an objective view of cultivate an objective view of what? Of everything in the universe. All names, all forms. They are delightful because not of the name and the form, but because it is astibhati priyam, essentially speaking. Oh, so I am in love with astibhati priyam? Yes. What is this astibhati priyam? You. I am in love with myself, essentially. This is like that Greek character, Narcissus. He did something bad and he attracted a curse, that he would just fall in love with himself. I think he just would fall in love with women and leave them, or I don't know what the story is. And he would, then he got this curse. And then he would just look at himself in a body of water like this, in the river, and just pine to have union and fusion. He never had fusion, poor fellow. All that he could have is confusion. That's why fusion is not possible, because he is in love with himself. This is the human predicament. And he would try to hug the reflection in the water, and all he got was wet. And then again he would try to hug the reflection in the water, and it would just be full of seaweed and all kinds of things. And he would catch a cold, all the time in the water. And then again, that sad face he would see, and he would be in love with this youth. This is not just Narcissus, it is the universal human predicament. And Narcissus pined away because he did not have Vedanta. In perhaps an alternate universe, we could send him to India, or send a teacher to Greece, and then, have a little ashram there, and then, or maybe he could try time travel, and the story would end very, very differently, because he would see himself not just in a reflection, he would see himself in every name, every form, everything. And then he would be one with everything. No more pain, no more alienation, no more pining. In other words, no more samsara. What is samsara? Some sorrow or the other. This is what samsara is. All the time pining for this, pining for that. And who am I? Samsari, very, very sorry, all the time, missing this, missing that, wanting this, wanting that, not knowing that whatever I'm looking for is really already there. Whatever I'm looking for is myself. Myself what? I'm seeking myself to fill up myself. Oh, but I thought I was already full. Yeah, but do you know it? No, I don't know it. Okay. Then, then this is the knowledge that needs to be assimilated. This is what it entails. And but then the $1 million question is, how do I know this? People ask me this all the time. In the class, whatever you talk is very, very clear. I understand every word, and then I laugh at every joke, and then I jump up. I have an aha moment. And then, what is that? The closing prayer is said. And then the Zoom Kulam, not Gurukulam, okay, Zoom Kulam. The Zoom Kulam comes to an end. And then I scratch my head. What was it? What was that? How? How did this all come together? Where is this? And this definitely shows that there needs to be a methodology, a kind of a systematic way of approaching this teaching, so that it sticks. It sticks. And and people say this all the time. I can't study Vedanta because my memory is really bad. Thankfully, it is not based on memory, it is based on you. So, nice try, nice excuse, but it will not work for Vedanta. I mean, if you want to be a teacher, then, some memory is needed, but not otherwise. Otherwise, if you want this knowledge to enjoy it for yourself, it is you. You don't need to remember that you exist, because that is what is called self-existent. And so, what is this methodology? How do we assimilate this knowledge? That is talked about in the very last line of this mantra. Atma va are drashtavyah shrotavyah mantavyah Nididhyasanam Maitreyi Atmano va are darshanena shravanena matya vijnanena idam sarvam viditam. And what that is all about, we will start seeing it in the subsequent sessions. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadagya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you.